Hello and welcome to another My Tunes podcast right here at yourmanxradio.com.
Marc Tyley, the nation's station, Manx Radio.
Bonnie and Clyde were pretty looking people, but I can tell you people, they were the devil's children. Bonnie and Clyde began their evil doing one lazy afternoon down Savannah way. They robbed a store and hightailed out of that town. Got clean away in a stolen car and waited till the heat died down. Bonnie and Clyde advanced their reputation and made the graduation into the banking business. Reach for the sky, sweet talking Clyde would holler as Bonnie loaded dollars in the July bag. Now one brave man, he tried to take them alone. They left him lying in a pool of blood and laughed about it all the way home. Bonnie and Clyde got to be public enemy number one, running and hiding from every American lawman's gun. They used to laugh about dying, but deep inside them they knew that pretty soon they'd be lying beneath the ground together, pushing up there just to welcome the sun and the morning dew. Acting upon reliable information, a federal deputation laid a deadly ambush. When Bonnie and Clyde came walking in the sunshine, a half a dozen carbines opened up on them. Bonnie and Clyde, they lived a lot together, and finally together they died.
Georgie Fame. I can't remember if he had the Blue Flames with him on that. He might have had some of them. The Ballad of Bonnie and Clyde. You're getting two for the price of one this week because I've got two rows lined up for you. I've got Lindsay and Steve Rowe with me. Lindsay, that was your first choice, Bonnie and Clyde. It's going back a bit.
It is indeed. So I started playing piano, going to piano lessons when I was about 4 or 5, and the kind of normal way of learning, lots of sheet music. And my mum and dad had sort of a record player and the old 7-inch version of Bonnie and Clyde, and it was the first cool thing I ever learned to play on piano by ear. My dad showed me sort of the bluesy intro, which I think is actually a Fats Domino intro that Georgie Fame borrowed, and yeah, it was my first introduction to playing sort of 12-bar blues, I guess, as well.
Wow,
So
what a great way to start the week. And I've got to say hello to Steve as well. He's sitting here together.
Hi Mark, how are you?
Well, I'm absolutely fine. First of all, thank you for choosing Bonnie and Clyde, Lindsay, but really, really thank you for the amazing work you did with our very own Davy Knowles a couple of weeks ago there in the Gaiety. What a night that was. Was it as good for you as it was for us?
yeah, it was amazing. It was an absolute privilege and an honour. It always is to play with Davy.
Yeah.
And he's just an absolute master of his craft, isn't he?
Tremendous fun to play with Davy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
It's crazy how skillful he's getting. Now, tell me about the rehearsals, because you didn't have weeks and weeks of rehearsal. Did you have two?
We had two.
Yeah, it's one more than usual, to be fair.
I think we started chasing for the tunes about 6 weeks before the gig, and someone sent us 6 tunes that we already knew. So we thought, well, okay, we know these, so we don't have to sweat over this. We can do this easily. I think 3 weeks before the gig, we received about another 7 tunes that we didn't know, so we had a bit of a problem then. So we had to learn them, and then we had 2 rehearsals with Davey and Steve.
Well, it worked. It worked beautifully. It was just lovely to see you both up there. We're going to talk an awful lot more about who you've been playing with, what's coming up, but I want you to take me through your first choice today, Steve. This is a beautiful song. Tell me why you've chosen it.
All about the bass for me, Mark.
Ooh.
All about the bass. This is a track that really, for me, is quite significant because as a bass player, one of my favourite bass players of all time is James Jamerson, who's the bass player on this track. And the interesting thing about this is that the story goes that James Jamerson was found rather inebriated in a bar when they were looking for him to do this session. And he played this track lying down because he couldn't stand up. But for me, it really is the ideal sort of bass line to support a song. It flows through the song in such a beautiful way, and is really the epitome of what bass playing should be about, I think, in terms of supporting songs and just playing the bass.
Well, I really hope that's a true story, because as I'm going to close my eyes and listen to this and imagine this amazing bass player lying down on the studio floor. Let's hear it. Marvin Gaye and What's Going On.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Oh, picket line, picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right on. Everybody thinks we're wrong. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to find a way. Bring some understanding here today. Picket line and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Right on, right on. Right on.
This week on My Tunes, we've got 2 guests, 8 records, and all sorts in between. What could possibly go wrong? The answer is nothing, because I'm in really safe hands with Steve Rowe, one of the island's foremost bass players, and Lindsay Rowe, his adorable wife, who is a keyboard player and vocalist extraordinaire. Thank you both for coming on My Tunes. All right, Steve, I've got to ask you, weather report. Jaco Pastorius. One of the greatest bass players ever.
For me, the greatest bass player.
Okay, fair enough.
Saw Weather Report tour this album, Heavy Weather, I think it was about 1978 when they toured the UK with this. And it was at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester. I went along to see that, so I was very fortunate to see my idol playing the bass. It was very difficult for me to choose a Jaco Pastorius track because really I think everything he ever did was so impressive. But this for me was out there, an outstanding sort of track by Weather Report with Jaco on bass. And of course all his work with Joni Mitchell as well was something that I was looking at as well when I was choosing these tunes. But this for me, Teen Town, is the one.
Well, thank you for choosing something by the maestro, the absolute maestro. Now, when it comes to keyboard players, Lindsay, who are your idols? We touched on Georgie Fame and even Fats Domino yesterday. So who are your favourites?
Oh, wow. There's such a variety from the sort of classical musicians like Alfred Brendel, absolutely love him, to sort of rock, John Lord, of course. Funnily enough, just talking about Weather Report, I love Joe Zawinul's his piano playing before he was sort of in Weather Report is phenomenal. I almost chose one of his tunes actually. My favourite jazz player probably Bill Evans, but very hard to choose. There's so many greats. Yeah, lots of them. And
your style, yeah. you can pretty much take on anything, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I've seen you do nearly enough everything.
Yeah. Well, I started with a classical background. I've been lucky enough to have 2 concert pianists as piano tutors. And I have a deep appreciation for classical music. And then it was actually Steve sort of got me into playing rock. We'd both had a big break, hadn't we, from playing?
Yes, yeah.
And I encouraged you to buy a practice bass amp, which opened up the door to playing with Carbon Frog that was later Psychoholic. And then they decided to get a keys player. And suddenly I was learning things like Highway Star by John Lord, which was a real eye-opener and a lot of fun.
I bet. Deep Purple, Fast and Furious.
Oh, what?
About your background, Steve?
My
In
background?
terms of playing and learning to play.
Self-taught.
Right.
Entirely, almost. I started playing guitar when I was 6. Went to secondary school. Was always interested in music, and when I was at secondary school, I wanted to sort of further that. But at those times, it was difficult. You know, there weren't really any sort of opportunities for people who wanted to play anything other than classical music. So I decided I would like to play the trumpet. So I asked my music teacher if I could have trumpet lessons. She said to me, "You can't start learning the trumpet until you start doing your maths homework."
Wow, that's a bit brutal.
It was a bit brutal, I thought. So, but I had my revenge. I remember one afternoon going up to the grand piano in the dining hall, opening the lid of it and putting loads of spoons and forks and knives all over the strings.
That's Keith Emerson at work there.
Yeah.
Or
Close
John
the lid.
Cage.
Closed the lid quietly. Next morning in assembly, she went down the stairs to play the piano, and
You got her back. Where was this? Which school?
this was Appleton Hall County Grammar School.
Oh, okay. And where is that? Sorry.
That's near Warrington.
Near Warrington. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So So but then from there, it was playing in bands. Then I think it's very typical, you know, that you'd sort of join a band with your mates, and like the guitarist will put you on bass. And so that's where it started.
Yeah,
you know.
it normally happens, doesn't
Yeah,
it? I'm
yeah.
better than him. I want to play the guitar. He can play the bass. Right, we're going back to Lindsay and the second track today. What we got?
Goldmine by Take Six.
Now, talk me through this.
Okay, so I'm very lucky that this is my earworm and has been for over 35 years now. It pops into my head with alarming regularity, definitely on a weekly basis, and it still leaves me awestruck. It is phenomenal.
Losing my mind, climbing the walls, not even knowing what it was I had to find, wondering if I ever would. And there had to be some kind of something or someone who might bring out the best in me. Only the greatest ever could. You caught my eye with a glow too wonderful to ignore.
Better sight
I took
in your light,
one look
shining down
through heaven's door.
Doo-doo-doom.
I never thought I would ever stumble out of darkness and prize the view, but this time I found a gold mine in you, in you. This is too much, hard to believe my life is changing, Lord, but now I've got your touch. I gotta keep passing it along, down in my heart. I knew there'd be someone like you someday.
On the move,
Hear me,
knowing you've
steer me,
chosen me.
just to lead the way. I never thought I would ever stumble out of darkness and prize the view, but this time I found a gold mine in you. I have to admit, I never thought I would ever chance upon a love I could hold on to, but this time I found a gold mine in you.
Around.
I found a treasure no one can measure, but it's true. I can't begin to calculate my wealth, and I never papers. I never thought I would ever chance upon a love I could hold on to. I never thought I would ever spot a ray of hope in the residue. I never thought I would ever find another prospect to interview, but this time I found a gold mine in you. I have to admit I never.
Yesterday, just a photograph of yesterday, and all its edges folded and the corners faded sepia brown, and yet it's all I have of our past love, a postscript to its ending. Brighter days, I can see such brighter days, when every song we sang is sung again. And now we know this time it's for good, and we're lovers once again. And you're near me. I can remember the rain in December, the leaves of brown on the ground. In Spain I did love and adore you. The nights filled with joy were our yesterdays, and tomorrow will bring you near me. I can't recall my desire. Reverie is on fire. I get a picture of all our yesterdays. Yesterday I can say I get a kick every time they play that Spain again. I can remember the rain in December, the leaves of brown on the ground. Our love was a Spanish fiesta. The bright lights and songs were our joy each day, and the nights were the heat of yearning. I can't recall my desire. Reverie is on fire, and I get a picture of all our yesterdays. Yesterday I can say I get a kick every time I see you gaze at me. I see moments of history. Your eyes meet mine, and they dance to the melody, and we live again as if dreaming. Sound of our hearts beat like castanets, and forever we'll know their meaning. I can't recall my desire. Every reverie is on fire, and I get a picture of all our yesterdays. Yesterday I can say I get a kick every time I see you gaze at me. And they dance to the melody, and we live again as if dreaming. The sound of our hearts beat like castanets, and forever we'll know their meaning. I can't recall my desire. Every reverie is on fire.
every time I see you gaze at me. You gaze at me, I see moments of history. Your eyes meet mine, and they dance to the melody, and we live again as if dreaming. The sound of our hearts beat like castanets, and forever we'll know their meaning. I can remember the rain in December, the leaves of brown tumbling down. In Spain I did love and adore you. The nights filled with joy were our yesterdays, and tomorrow will bring you near me. I can't recall my desire, every reverie is on fire. I get a picture of all our yesterdays. Yesterday I can say I get a kick and I'm here to say, dear Spain. Whoa,
I do love Al Jarreau, and funnily enough, only last week we played on the morning show as our love song the theme from Moonlighting, which I used to love. Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd mucking around together. That was Lindsay's choice, Al Jarreau. You've been a fan for a long time?
I have indeed. I was lucky enough to go and see him in Manchester, and it's the only gig I've ever been to where the drummer managed to break his bass drum skin.
Goodness, I've never seen that.
No, I hadn't either. And I think there were 11 people in the band, and they all just grabbed a percussion instrument, came to the front of stage, and just kind of jammed and played with the audience a bit like Jacob Collier does now.
Wow.
This song I adore. I've seen Chick Corea, who wrote it, and I almost went with his version. But this song just absolutely rocks. And Spain, it has been the soundtrack to our life of Fraser learning jazz piano, because he would just play it all the time. And when Fraser came home from school, he would walk in, sit down at the piano, play for an hour and a half without even taking off his coat and his backpack. Just beeline to the piano and
Still
off he
does.
went. Still does.
Well,
yeah.
we're going to have to talk about the family Von Trapp, or as we call it, the family Von Rose, because it is quite an extraordinary collection of four of you: Callum, Fraser, you, and how did it happen? I mean, did they just take it up naturally?
Well, there's a couple of things. So my dad, his dad, in fact, my grandpa used to say, in order to learn an instrument, you need two things. You need an instrument to practice on, and you need another musician in the house to ask. And my dad's dad started gigging in 1925, playing in dance halls, playing saxophone. He played in the Royal Marines as well. And then my dad started gigging probably in the 50s. My dad's a piano player. He was an amazing jazz clarinetist. And my mum's a singer. And so I kind of came from that background. We met at music college, but we didn't get together till years later. But you were playing bass with my mum and dad, weren't you?
Were you?
Yeah,
I think I learnt an awful lot from Lindsay's mum and dad.
So did you know them before you met Lindsay?
No, we met at music college and we were pals for years, and then I went off to do a degree at Salford in music, and we sort of remained friends. And Lindsay phoned me up one day and said, "Do you fancy coming along and playing in this trio?" You know, so her dad was looking for a bass player, so I came along. And the rest is history, really.
Now, I mentioned Callum and Fraser because obviously they are both so talented as well. And did you know early on that this was going to happen? Did you hope it was going to happen? What was the progression for those two boys?
Very much a natural progression. I mean, obviously, you know, we're very into music, and we were keen for them to sort of have music in their lives. I think we probably purposefully set out to sort of have them play music. But that's quite a difficult thing, I think, you know, and so we decided on some rules that we would follow in the house.
I've got a whole quote of yours here that I can read out, actually. I
Okay.
found it before.
Give us the quote,
Okay,
Lindsay.
so this was in 2014, Steve,
Okay.
on encouraging musicality in kids.
Yeah.
Feed their souls with all kinds of real music instead of letting all that fake tabloid mentality nonsense do something irreversible to their brain. Have dozens of instruments lying around the house that they can play whenever they want to. Pay for tuition with people who really understand how music works. And regardless of the horrendous noise they might be making, always encourage them and never ever tell them to shut up because it will get better.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
Right, Steve, Steely Dan. I thought they might appear somewhere.
I've been a fan of Steely Dan for as long as I can remember, Mark. I think I've probably first heard them when I was about 14 or 15 years old, and to this day I can listen to any Steely Dan song and find something new in it.
They are total crafts people.
They are.
We're all big fans, aren't we?
So the track we've got,
The track we've got is Peg.
and particular reason for this one?
Oh, the tricky bass line. I remember trying to learn this. I was probably about 16 or 17 years old, trying to learn that bass line, thinking I'll never be able to do that. Chuck Rainey, fantastic bass player. I can do it now.
He can do it. And if he had a bass, he'd play along with it. Here it is, Steely Dan, Peg.
I seen your picture, your name in lights above it. This is your big debut. It's like a dream come true. So won't you smile for the camera? I know they're gonna love it. Big. I like your pin shot. I keep it with your letter, done up in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better. Hey, it will come back to you. Hey, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls, you see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. I like your picture. I keep it with your letter, done up in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better. Hey, it will come back to you. Hey, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls, you see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. was the answer. Put me in a tree. When I wanna see me, put your dog on me. If I was a baby, what a lovely ball. If I was an outlaw, what a lovely call. If I was a tiger, what a lovely cage. If I was somebody else, but at your age. You miss out of it, leave me out of your day and night. I've been trying to make you see it. Hear what I gotta say. It's all about me and you.
That is a master at work. Sort of ties in with Davy Knowles as well, because Davy is busy with the Band of Friends, the tribute, well, one original member of Rory Gallagher's band, Cradle Rock, Rory Gallagher live. The full-length version of that will be on the podcast, which is coming out this afternoon. So don't worry, there's more where that came from. Cradle Rock, the choice of Steve Rowe. A Rory fan.
A Rory fan, a long-time Rory fan. I think I first heard Rory on the Old Grey Whistle Test, playing Bullfrog Blues.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably about 13 or 14 years old. It just blew my mind, and so I went out and bought his Irish Tour '74 album, and I think I wore a hole in it. I played it that much. It was constantly on, and it was my introduction to sort of blues. I played in a blues band, in lots of blues bands, over the following years, and blues was a big part of my musical life for a long, long time. Then I went to music college and discovered that blues can progress into jazz, so I've kind of moved on a little bit since then, so I don't do so much blues anymore. But still, Rory Gallagher, just an incredible musician, incredible talent.
One thing I didn't ask you earlier in the week is, when did you come to the Isle of Man and what brought you here?
We came to the Isle of Man in back end of the 90s, was it 98?
99 February.
February 99.
Yeah.
And I came over here, the internet brought us here, really. I had a pal that lived in Castletown who had a business kind of building an early version of something like Facebook at the time, which was quite innovative for that time, and I've been involved with it, working on sort of the front end development of that for a few years remotely, and then he said, well, why not come over here and sort of work full time? So that's how we ended up here.
And Lindsay, you're pleased you came?
Absolutely. Well, we moved here in 99, and Callum was born in March 2000. And once we had the kids, it was like, how could we go back to where we came from? It's just the most amazing place in the world to bring up a family.
Yeah.
And I think as well, the musical opportunities that they had, because of the real sense of community here, they just wouldn't have got anywhere else. It's been fantastic. They were welcomed as children, and got to play with some amazing musicians. So,
and I think it's encouraged as well. So many people still go to live gigs and they play in bands, and they're you've seen them come, because you both teach.
Yeah.
You teach keyboards, you teach bass. So they come through your careful hands. So you've seen plenty of people wanting to learn.
Yeah.
Oh, loads of people want to learn. Yeah, not so many people want to learn the bass, I don't think. It's quite niche. But those that do seem to be very keen.
Right, we've got to speak about what's happening coming up in this year. What are your plans? What you got going?
Not much, really. I'm just waiting for the next call, I suppose.
Yeah.
For the next gig. We've got a band called Mother Funkers.
Oh, I've seen you.
We're very lucky that we can all sort of, still play in bands with our kids. Well, Lindsay and I are both lucky that we can still play in bands with our kids, So we've got Callum on guitar and vocals, Jack Divers on vocals, Danny Neal, my pal Danny on drums, and Andy Marshall on percussion.
And Fraser on keys when he's here.
Yes, because that last summer, when I saw you in the Bushies garden there, it was Fraser. Yeah, wasn't you?
It's his gig,
Yeah.
but he's mainly in Manchester now, so I have some very large size 11 shoes to fill on those keyboards there.
Wow.
No pressure.
None whatsoever. We're gonna finish the week with a song that I talked about when Callum was sat there. Because I said to him, you used to be in a band called Lava. He said, of course I do. I said, and you used to play this song, a Santana Rob Thomas song. I said, and I told him, there and then, I'm telling you, as mum and dad, that I don't know anybody, apart from maybe Santana himself, Carlos, on a good day, who can play that song the way your lad Callum plays it on that guitar. I think he plays it with such sensitivity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just playing the notes, it's getting the feel of the whole thing.
Oh, he nails it.
He
Absolutely.
does nail it, yeah.
And the reason why I've chosen this is when I was about 8 months pregnant with Callum, I was listening to this song all the time. And at the time, it was like when you were downloading MP3s, and we had this old massive desktop computer. And I was just sat in front of it listening to this. And full circle, he came to play in Lava, which we were playing in with the lovely Christy DeHaven, of course. And we ended up playing this in a band with him, and it's just that kind of full circle moment. And an absolute pleasure. I absolutely love Latin music and sort of montunos and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Well, look, thank you for an amazing week of My Tunes, and thank you for all your teaching. Thank you for all that you're giving to the Isle of Man. Thank you for coming back in the day to the Isle of Man. Thank you for staying. Thank you for producing two amazing lads. Always entertain us, and keep going.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you
Mark.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Man, it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun. Well, I hear you whispering the words to melt everyone, but you stay so cool. My Mona Lisa, my Spanish Harlem Mona Lisa. You're my reason for reason. The step in my groove, yeah. And if you said this life ain't good enough, I'd give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood. Cause you're so smooth. And it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. But I'll tell you one thing. If you would leave, it'd be a crying shame. In every breath and every word, I hear your name calling me out. Well, I'm from the barrio. You hear my rhythm on your radio. You feel the turning of the world, so soft and slow, turning you round and round. And if you said this life ain't good enough, I would give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood. Cause you're so smooth. And it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. It's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that can be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. Or else forget about it. Oh, let's don't forget about it. Give me your heart, make it real. Let's don't forget about it. Let's don't forget about it. Oh, let's don't forget about it. Oh, let's don't forget about it.
Steve and Lindsay Rowe, thank you so much for joining me on My Tunes. And what a family. Fraser, Callum, all of you. Just amazing talent in that family. Love the Rob Thomas and Santana, by the way. Keep coming back here for more podcasts. They're popping up every day. And join me when you can. I'm Marc Tyley for the morning show on the nation station Manx Radio. That's Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 12. I look forward to your company.